to be talking about a potential push for marijuana legalization at the federal level, which would include rescheduling marijuana off of the prohibitive list. I want you to take a look at this article right here. Is it time for the last dance with Mary Jane? Let's find out. Republican lawmakers file a bill to tax and regulate marijuana as alternative to Democratic proposals. Now, where this is coming from is Representative Nancy Mace, representative from South Carolina, sponsoring a bill titled the States Reform Act, along with a handful of initial Republican co-sponsors. It would end federal marijuana prohibition while taking specific steps to ensure that businesses in existing state markets can continue to operate unencumbered by changing federal rules. Now, I want to get into a little bit of the details of this well, because one of the biggest questions that we've even had on this program is let's say they legalize marijuana tomorrow. What will that mean for people that are currently incarcerated for nonviolent offenses? So check out this in the article. So this bill supports veterans, law enforcement, farmers, businesses, those with serious illnesses, and it's good for criminal justice reform, Mace said in a statement on Monday. The States Reform Act takes special care to keep Americans and their children safe while ending federal interference with state cannabis laws. Going a little bit forward. By the way, it's being co-sponsored by Representatives Tom McClintock, Republican from California. I mean, a California Republican is basically a Stalinist, but still. Don Young, Republican of Arkansas. So a Republican in Arkansas is basically a Klan member, but still. Brian Mast, Republican from Florida. Peter Meyer, Republican from Michigan. And Representative Ken Buck, Republican from Colorado. Their names were listed on an earlier version of the bill that Marijuana Moment reviewed. Oh, so no, the last one, Ken Buck, appears to have removed himself prior to introduction. I mean, I was going to say F Buck, but I didn't because Dave's kids need to hear about this so that they can get to token. You know, I'm trying to help. So what's included in the bill? It's primarily aimed at having the federal government treat marijuana in a similar manner to alcohol. Cannabis would be removed from the Controlled Substances Act, very good, with retroactive effects for people previously punished. Prior federal cannabis convictions would need to be expunged within 1 year. People affiliated with cartels who have been convicted of driving under the influence would not be eligible for relief, however. Mace's, wow. So anyway, here's the thing. A lot of people out there might be thinking to themselves, there's just no way. There's just no way that a Republican-led bill talking about marijuana legalization could possibly pass muster because, I mean, all those kooks in flyover country, all them right-wingers in the Bible Belt, there's just no way they're going to go for this. These are all thin blue line towing, God-fearing Christians that know the devil's lettuce is out to get them. But take a look at this chart right here. So this is the most recent numbers that support for legal marijuana holds at record high of 68%. So 68% of Americans across all ideological barriers are in favor of support for legalizing marijuana. But even breaking that down by Democrat and Republican, it's a majority of Republicans. And even breaking it down for right-winging Republican voters who are regular churchgoers, it's still 51%. Still a majority. So a majority of this country across all ideological barriers are in favor of legalizing marijuana. So, one quick thing else I wanted to look at before we move on. So Nancy Mace is from South Carolina, and if there's just anybody that can figure out a way to ruin a good thing, it's the GOP. Check out this article right here from the South Carolina GOP, Nancy Mace's own state, where they say GOP Congresswoman's marijuana legalization bill draws fire from home state Republican Party. But that should say draws ire instead of draws fire. I'm a better headline writer than that.
Yeah, they did it wrong.
Yeah, they did it wrong. Okay. Mayor Pete does it wrong.
Oh.
All right, so anyway, Now, this is from South Carolina Republican Party Chairman Drew McKissick, affirming that the organization opposes any effort to end prohibition and making clear that the Congresswoman's bill is no exception. McKissick said, quote, "Our party platform is clear. We support firm enforcement of existing laws against the abuse and distribution of controlled substances, and we oppose any effort to legalize the use of controlled substances, and that includes marijuana. We've seen Democrats across the country, even here at home with Joe Cunningham and Mia McLeod. Wasn't that the person from Highlander? McLeod?
McLeod.
Yeah.
McLeod.
Interesting. So they're in South Carolina trying to kill people for smoking pot. Campaign on legalizing weed against the wishes of law enforcement. Against the wish.
Got to back the blue, baby.
I'm going to be good. Dave's kids need to hear this. I'm going to be good. Even just today, Texas Democrat Beto O'Rourke announced in his campaign video for governor that he wants to legalize marijuana. Why are you saying the one good thing Beto O'Rourke likes? Like totally leave it up to any level of the GOP to be the only people that can, they do this number, they figure out what do the majority of people think, and what also just so happens to be the true conservative, moral, ethical position, and then they oppose that. That's the GOP in a nutshell. Jesus Christ. So anyway, bringing that full circle, this is what I really wanted to talk about with that kind of as a backdrop. Is at the end of the day, it comes down to two different positions that the practical thinker could take. There's legalization, but with strings attached. And then there's principled absolutism.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not one to tell people to abandon their principles. I'm a deeply principled person. I like to think that I walk the walk and talk the talk. I'm the person who's been on this show for the last year and a half telling people I never wore a mask. The lockdowns destroyed my business, but I didn't go crying to government for handouts. I'm not going to go to the people who destroyed my livelihood asking them to pay me. Screw those people. I'm not getting the jab. I'm not doing those things. I never did those things. And when people tell me these sob stories of, well, I have to do this and that, no, you don't have to do jack. That's what being principled is. And the reason I'm saying that is that I get drawing a line in the sand and not moving. I get that. I do. And I also get that people kind of eschew this incrementalism. The type of people that think, well, let's just do little bits and steps because that's the way politics is played. I get people that are like, no thanks. I don't want to have anything to do with that. I get that. 100. I'm the guy who says let's burn down Washington, D.C., so I get that 100%. However, there's a lot of people in prison right now for non-violent drug offenses. There's countless people whose lives have been destroyed, whose friends and family have been affected because of the war on drugs. And at the end of the day, if you had a vote, if you got the deciding vote, if you listening at home, if you got the deciding vote on whether or not marijuana would be taken off the controlled substances list under any pretenses, and you could vote yes or no, knowing that a yes vote means those people go free, and a no vote means, well, let's hold out for something better. But you guys stay in jail while we hold out for something better. I just don't think you can vote no. I don't think I could look those people in the face and say, look, guys, I'd really like to get you guys out of jail, but we don't want taxes on this plant, so you guys better hang tight while we figure this one out. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I want those people out. And I also tend to think that, maybe in so much as the game of politics does work this way, is that if you vote for a bill that legalizes it, you can always argue about getting rid of the regulatory state tomorrow. But let's get those people out of prison today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, am I wrong on this or am I right on this?
No, I agree with this.
So, and I actually happened to see online. It's one of I love Thomas Massey, and I love Scott Horton. And this is one position where I think Scott is great on, and I think it's one position that really Thomas Massey has been very poor on. It's this Thomas Massey being the constitutional absolutist that he is, and being so anti-regulatory
Oh
state,
no.
anti-government spending, and I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
But he's exactly the kind of person who has signaled that he would vote against such a bill because it would create a greater bureaucracy around marijuana. And all I can
Mm.
say to that is that, well, you introduce legislation that's the same thing but without the regulatory state, and you watch it never get out of committee, while we're going to be over here trying to get these poor people out of jail. And Scott Horton has said as much, is that as much as I like Thomas Massey, he's dead wrong on this. If you have an opportunity to get more people free, you just do it. You just, whatever it takes, you just do it. Taxation is theft. We all believe that. I get it. It is. But at the end of it's people going free versus not going free. I'm going to take people going free.